These are the best cozy mystery thriller books to read on a rainy day. What's up, friends? Welcome back to the channel. I have a stack of books here to share with you guys today. These are going to be recommendations for the best thriller slash mystery books that bring that super cozy vibe to read on a rainy day. Expect these books to be very atmospheric and immersive. Let's get right into it. I'm going to start with one of my favorites. This is from an indie author. It's one of those books that I just never see anyone else mention. It's called The Quiet Wife by J.M. Cannon. This is a great book. It's really short. You could fly through it. It's only 265 pages. This follows a married woman named Katie. She's 36 years old and has always wanted to be a journalist, but has never really been able to find like that big story to take her career to the next level. She finds out about this really strange housing project that's taking place in the middle of the Colorado mountains, and it's a man who's building homes, building a community out there, and this community is advertised toward people who want to live the secluded life, get away from technology, get away from all the fast, like, city life, and live in this small off-the-grid community in the Colorado mountains. She thinks that there might be a connection between this place and a string of missing girls that has gone unsolved, and so she convinces her husband to buy a house in that community, and they move into it, and she's hoping to get her big story. This is such a fun book, and honestly, it's not gonna go like in the direction that you think it's gonna go. It's just so unique. I've never read anything else like it, and it has that thickly atmospheric and very immersive setting out in these mountains. Like, it's just so mysterious, so very eerie, and it's pretty twisty. This, for sure, in my opinion, is perfect for a rainy day. Then I'm gonna go ahead and recommend The Storm by Rachel Hawkins. Nothing like a storm to read about on a rainy day, but this book is so much more than just its title, honestly. I loved this book. It was my favorite Rachel Hawkins book that I have read so far, and I've read all of hers. This takes place in a small town in Alabama where hurricane season is brutal. Everybody loves a good small town secret, and the one in this book was like absolutely scandalous. There was a very well-known politician who was having an affair with a woman that was half his age, and after one of their brutal storms came through, his body was found on the beach. They looked into it as a murder, and his girlfriend was up for trial, but she was not convicted. Decades later, she returns back to this small town with a journalist by her side, and she's finally gonna give her tell-all story about what really happened all those years ago. I would describe this book in so many different ways because I feel like it was very multi-layered. It's got small town vibes, it's atmospheric, it is scandalous. The tea, the gossip, the drama, it's all very juicy. But most of all, what I loved about this book was that it was just deliciously southern. Perfect for rainy, cloudy, gloomy weather. Like, I just think this whole entire book embodies a good rainy day read just so well. I loved this book. This is also another really short one. Next, I have All His Pretty Girls by Charlie Cox. This one is the first in a series, but each book in the series can be read as a standalone. However, I rated every single one of the books 4.25 stars and above. This series is so good. Our main character is Detective Alyssa Wyatt. Her and her partner are just amazing. In each book of the series, there is a dangerous serial killer that they're hunting down, and I swear this author has to have some sort of detective crime solving background of some sort because she is so incredibly good at creating a puzzle and seeing the puzzle come together as the mystery of the story is getting closer and closer to being solved. It's just extremely well done in every single book. In this specific book, there seems to be a serial killer on the loose who is leaving behind absolutely no evidence. Book 2 is The Toy Box. Then we have Alone in the Woods, The Devil's Playground, and then The Dying Place, and then I just finished the 5th one in the series, which is called The Hunting Grounds. I swear, every single one of these books is so good. I eat them up in like 2 days or less. They are perfect for a rainy day, just so immersive, and they have that small town mystery vibe. I love a good crime thriller, but I will warn you guys, these books get really dark. Like, the killers that they track down in these books are not for the faint of heart. They are brutal. Highly recommend. This is one of my favorite series. Again, the very first book to start with is All His Pretty Girls. This also has one of the best twists I've ever read in a crime thriller. I'll leave it at that. Next, I have Deadbeat by Adam Hamdy. This is another book that I just love to recommend because I thought this was so good, and I swear I never see anyone talking about this one. It's just flying under the radar. This follows a man named Peyton who has literally hit rock bottom in his life. He is the definition of a deadbeat. His wife divorced him, his daughter barely speaks to him, and on top of that, he's a drunk. He's really trying to be a better man, especially for his daughter. He just wants to have a healthy relationship with her and prove that he's really a good man. But as he's trying to get his life back on track, he realizes that he needs money to do so, and one day he gets an offer of a very large sum of money, and all he has to do is kill one evil man. So now Peyton's gonna battle with, do I do a bad thing or do I do a good thing by eliminating a bad man? I was just so very invested in this story. The themes of this book are just very dark. Like I said, he's hit rock bottom. Like, one bad thing happens to him after another. And I think because of that, like, gloom vibe of the book, it gives me rainy day vibes. I think this would be a great choice. But even if it's a sunny day, I don't know. If it's snowing, it's raining, it's sunny, this is still a good book. This would be a great beach read even. I feel like saying that kind of defeats the purpose of recommending this one for the video, but trust me, it's a good book. Then we have The Dead Husband Cookbook by Danielle Valentine. I loved this book. When I tell you this was so atmospheric, I mean it. Here we have a famous chef and a famous TV star. Her name is Maria. Her and her husband had a restaurant, a TV show, but her husband mysteriously died one day. Since then, it has been years, and Maria has still never said a single word about it. The speculation has been wild, but all of a sudden, Maria says that she is ready to write her own story and come clean about everything in their marriage and what happened with his death and all the secrets that people have been waiting years to find out about. We follow Thea. She's an editor who was chosen specifically by this woman to edit her book, and she said that she will have no one else do it except for Thea. It has to be her. Also, in order to edit this book, it's extremely top secret, and so she requires Thea to come and stay in her home with her while the editing process takes place. This was just another book that I absolutely got lost in. The atmosphere was heavy, it was gloomy, it was just perfect for the plot. Like, everything played out in this book so well. I will say that at the end, I actually did find this one slightly predictable, but despite that, because basically I'm here for a good time, whether that means I guess the ending or not, I still really just loved this book. I thought it was so good, and yeah, I'm surprised more people don't talk about this one also. Next, I have a book that lots of people do talk about, and it's almost never in a good way, but I loved this book and I love talking about it because I know so many people disagree with me on this one. It's The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. I know people hate this book, okay? But for me, this was prime. I loved this. This is probably my biggest hot take ever in reading. People just say that this ending ruined the entire book, and I think this was such a good ending. This follows an actress who started receiving some really bad press, and in order to escape all of that, she goes and stays at her family's lake house. She drinks a lot, and she's trying to get her crap together, all while staying out of the public eye. During her time at the lake house, she becomes very interested in the couple across the lake, where she can kind of see into their windows. She can see that things are a little bit strange with them, and she grows more and more, we'll say curious to be nice, but really she's just nosy. Suddenly, the wife of this couple that she's been watching is missing. Honestly, I sometimes wonder if the reason why I love this book so much is because I'm also nosy. But no, seriously, this one was unputdownable for me. It has been a really long time since I read it. I'm pretty sure I read it when it first came out, which would have been 2022. Okay, so it's been a while, and sometimes when it's been a while, I wouldn't normally like a book as much now as I did then, just because of like how my reading tastes have changed. But I really feel like if I went back and reread this book, I would still really enjoy it. I just remember it being a good time. I couldn't put it down, and I loved how immersed I was in the story. Like, the setting of the lake house just felt very vivid, and I really just overall had a great time with this book, and no one can say anything to make me change my mind. I thought this ending was very well done. I laugh. I only laugh because I know how passionately some people hate it, and I don't know. Reading is subjective. Another one that I loved that I've never seen anyone else talk about is The Moonlight Child. This is by Karen McQuestion. This one follows a woman who lives at home Well, where else would she live? Okay, we're following Sharon, who steps outside of her home late at night and notices in her neighbor's kitchen window that there's a young child washing dishes, but she knows that this couple does not have any children that age. And even if they did, why would this kid be up this late doing dishes? So we have another nosy neighbor situation. She becomes very curious in finding out who that child was, and even more so when she has an 18-year-old former foster child come and stay with her for a little while, and this young girl also starts noticing some suspicious behavior from the neighbors. This is a really good book. If you're looking for something that's off the beaten path, something that, you know, is not the very common popular thrillers that are recommended over and over again, this is a really good one to pick up. I read this and the story stuck with me. I really enjoyed it. It has stayed on my shelf since, and usually if I don't enjoy a book as much, I tend to unhaul it so I can have more room on my shelves, and this one has just been on my shelf for a really long time. I really enjoyed this book. Great, mysterious, nosy neighbor vibes. Perfect for a rainy night. Next, I have another crime thriller. This one is a duology, and this is actually by the author Jeneva Rose. And I feel like a lot of people don't even know that she has these books because her other like popular ones are more of like her best sellers. But I loved this little duology. I actually wish that she would make a third book. The first one is called Dead Woman's Crossing. The second one is called Last Day Alive. In the first book, we follow Detective Kimberly King. After a bad case that was really hard on her, she leaves her busy job in New York City and moves to the small town of Dead Woman Crossing, Oklahoma. She's hoping for a quiet new place where she could raise her daughter closer to some of her other family members and just kind of leave everything from New York in the past. But within days of her arrival, she gets a call to a horrible crime scene. On top of that, the details of the crime are extremely similar to a crime that happened years and years ago in this place, which is where the town got its name. This one had that great small town vibe, and it also had a really good balance between like the crime thriller side of things and her family home life. I would say it was very much equally plot driven and character driven, like in two really equal amounts, which honestly I really enjoy in a book. I love when I get attached to the characters as well as what's going on in the story, and that's true for book 2 as well. Book 2 was the perfect continuation of book 1. I highly recommend both of these. Like I said, I really wish that she would write a third book, but these are so old, I don't even know if she ever will. I have 2 more books. This next one is one of my favorites. It's The Man Made of Smoke by Alex North. This is my favorite book from him, and I have read all of his. One thing that I love about all of his books is that I feel like they are all very eerie, and the tone of the book, the tone of the story, the tone of the settings is always just very dark and gloomy and maybe slightly slower paced, but in a good way. In this story, we follow Dan, who works as a criminal profiler, and when he was a kid, he himself had come face to face with someone who ended up becoming a notorious serial killer. He gets a call that back home his father has died, and it's under some mysterious circumstances, and so Dan travels back to his hometown in order to see what he can uncover about what happened to his dad. Dan's character had such a serious and mature, like, take it easy type of vibe to him. I don't even know if that makes sense, but like he meticulously goes about from clue to clue trying to uncover any details he can about what happened to his father, and he just does it in such a slow-paced but yet very like controlled way. Like I said, I kind of feel like all of this author's books sort of fit into that same vibe, which makes me like really just look forward to each release that he has. But I really enjoyed this one. This was my favorite of his. Perfect for a rainy day, and it's definitely a shorter book too. It's only like 305 or so pages, I think. So good. I loved this book. The last one I have is The Vanishing Hour by Seraphina Nova Glass. Of all her books so far, I think this is the one that I would say is the most perfect for a rainy day. It follows a woman named Grace who runs an inn. And as a child, Grace managed to escape a kidnapper, so now she just kind of likes to keep to herself. She's still recovering from that after all of these years. But suddenly in her small town, there are young girls going missing, and they share a shocking resemblance to what she looked like at the time she was kidnapped. At the same time, we also follow a couple of other different point of views which go off in different directions. But then, of course, like every good thriller book, they all come back and wrap up so nicely together. I felt like it was well done in a way that each of the three characters had their own separate stories that kept you guessing on how is this all going to come together in the end. And like I said, it just wrapped up really nicely. This was a really well told story. I hope that the next time you guys have rain in your forecast that you think about this video. I swear by these recommendations, guys. These are for sure perfect for a rainy day. Cuddle up on the couch, get a warm drink, a soft blanket, and just enjoy a good thriller slash mystery book. And as always, if you read any of these, please come back and let me know what you thought about them. I love, love, love to hear your thoughts. And also, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.